hit and run that left one man dead in Lafourche Parish back in December. A month later, he turned himself in and was released on bond. Lacy's attorney says a grand jury was supposed to hear his.
Didn't participate was wide receiver Kyren Lacy. He ran the 40-yard dash, did all the wide receiver drills, but his draft future is still very much in doubt. That's because Lacy faces charges of vehicular homicide, felony hit and run, and reckless operation of a vehicle stemming from a December car accident that took the life of a 78-year-old man. Lacy.
Doc, have you heard this story about Kyren being falsely accused of this crime and everything, and him being a star at LSU?
Yeah, and it's sad to have a young man take his life, because of these allegations. And I think people just don't realize. People say, he took his life. Well, they were taking his livelihood from a kid work his whole life. He wasn't going to get drafted. He had worked his whole life. He wasn't going to be able to do his dream. And the problem wasn't, they have video evidence now. He wasn't even close to the accident. The officer went up to someone and solicited lying on this young man and literally pointing the finger at him when he had absolutely nothing to do with it. Those are the reports coming out. And that officer should be charged. That officer should be held accountable. He should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And he should go to jail for what he did. It's just a sad thing to see a mother lose a child, a young kid lose his dream, and inevitably lose his life.
Yeah, I'm gonna play a video of the officer. So this is who the officer is. Evan, there's a lot of people basically saying, it's because it's a white-black thing. How do you feel about it? There's a lot of controversy with blacks and cops. Do you feel like he did this to Kyren because he was black?
Yes, it always is. The police force itself was originally the slave patrol. That's where its roots came from. So, yeah, it absolutely is. This was black and white being a construct that were put into to pit us against each other. It's they use it to their advantage whenever they need to. And this is one of those instances that they do. A majority of police officers are white.
So everybody keep talking about how he persuaded the witness. So I'm gonna play that clip and then I'm gonna have Theory respond.
Sir. So look, don't worry about filling any of this top information, like your name, address. Don't worry about any of that. Just right here, if you could, I'll just have you write exactly what you saw. Just make sure to include, where you were.
I don't even know what the name of that highway.
It's Highway 20. Highway 20. That you just.
All right, maybe my wife gonna figure out right quick.
Okay, just make sure you add in there that you had to slam on your brakes and the brakes you had to slam on the brakes to avoid that charger and the brakes locked up to avoid that charger. That's.
I ain't skid mark or nothing. I wasn't even going for it. That lady in the back of me, she didn't know what happened. That's how she called that record. She was running in the back of me. She pulled on the other side, and that's not in it.
So, but the charger was coming right at you, correct? And that's why you had to slam on your brake, the head on with you. So yeah, just make sure you include that, and that's very important because we're trying to locate this charger right now. So just include that in the statement, and I'll read it over, and then I'll be out of here.
In that video, you can clearly hear the suggestive nature indicating that I need you to say that you had to slam on your brakes and you had to avoid a charger.
Okay, just make sure you add in there that you had to slam on your brakes and the brakes you had to slam on the brakes to avoid that charger and the brakes locked up to avoid that charger. That's.
But then you hear Gold Truck, the witness who's the Gold Truck, what he says. And he says verbatim.
I ain't skid mark or nothing. I wasn't even going for it. That lady in the back of me, she didn't know what happened. That's how she called that record. She was running in the back of me. She pulled on the other side, and that's not in it.
I didn't skid marked or nothing because I wasn't even going that fast. That lady in the back of me, she didn't see what's happening. That's how she caused that wreck. She was going to run into the back of me, and she pulled into the other side. But there's a bigger problem. I then obtained the actual written statement.
And this is from the gold truck.
This is the gold truck. Now, after the statement we just went through, notice, I've obviously redacted names, addresses, and the cell phone number in fairness to the individual who is gold truck number one in oncoming traffic. See, the problem with that statement is it is in direct contravention to what was said minutes earlier. It's not written by him, and where it says signed, it's not signed, it's refused. But you see, when I have a witness who is the most critical, and he's telling you, I wasn't traveling fast. We know now that he wasn't. The data shows 2.99 seconds before that he was traveling 28 miles an hour. The data shows that. Now he corroborates that. And he goes on to say, I didn't even make a skid mark. That woman behind me, she caused that accident. And you give me this statement that is refused? I got a problem. I got a problem with that. A big one.
Theory, how do you feel about this case? Do you feel like the officer should be charged? Do you feel like the entire police department needs to be changed?
I think this was a case of white tears. I think my theory is the woman that the car wreck was crying more than likely was a white woman, and they needed to place blame on, and they realized that there was a green Charger that was there, and they wanted to place blame on the green Charger. Honestly, this is why we see white privilege, and this happens to black people in such an insurmountable way. And the thing is, this is just one thing that we get to see in light. Just imagine how many other cases like this. Imagine Trey Reed, if we didn't have Colin Kaepernick do that autopsy. These are things that happens probably on a regular basis that they get away with, and he should get prosecuted. And we see that the police system does not work for nobody. And research shows that white people are the main ones getting killed by police officers. Black people basically more likely, but white people are the main ones getting killed by police officers. But they want to see that. Instead, they want to see that these police officers doing their job, when actuality they're not doing their jobs correctly, and they're damaging our neighborhoods, and they're damaging our homes. And this is a sad thing. Like, I was doing research on the individual, and to see that he was going up the draft for 2025, and he don't have the opportunity no more, knowing that the draft is going 6, 7, 8 months now. His name would not be called, even if he had the opportunity. He was the #1 player in LSU, and that took him time to get there. He wasn't an LSU. So to see that taken away from him because he couldn't bear the fact that he's getting accused that he didn't do, that's a black man's night. That's a black man's reality. That can happen to either of us here. That's something that actually happens on a daily basis. It's just something that's a reality that people are seeing on TV.
So I'm gonna play the new footage that came out, because the new footage shows that he wasn't at the accident at all.
So what you'll see is in the top left of the screen, you're going to see multiple cars just making their way south to Thibodaux, coming from Vacherie. At some point in time, you're going to see the collision, which we're going to know is vehicle number 2 from oncoming traffic colliding with the vehicle of Mr. Hall. You will see another vehicle come to a stop, and then you'll see Kyren Lacy come to a stop.
So as we've seen the video, it looks like the impact happens, and then Kyren Lacy is behind him. How far away was he from there?
Well, yeah, that's the beauty of the investigative report that I now have my hands on. We know from data that Kyren Lacy did, in fact, pass 4 cars. There's no disputing that. Further north, Kyren Lacy passed 4 cars. However, he was back in his lane of travel 92.3 yards back in his lane behind Mr. Hall. At the time of impact, he's 72.6 yards behind the vehicles at the time of impact. Keyword, behind the vehicles. That is not how this story was ever painted. Never.
Any part of the district attorney's investigation that talked about Mr. Lacy getting back, I guess we call it, what do you call it, correcting or getting in your proper lane?
Sure, he was back in his proper lane according to their data. This isn't my expert. This is the investigation of the Lafourche Parish District Attorney's Office. So I'm here simply comparing and contrasting the District Attorney's Office with state police in this matter, their investigations. And in that investigation.
Heaven, how do you feel like that this new evidence has came out?
I feel like the corruption starts at the top and works its way down, just like, you know, in the military. When you have toxic leadership, that toxicity, it goes from the top down. And we have had toxicity in America since the founding of America. And it's going to keep getting worse until we turn this around and make some changes as a people, as a nation, not just, you know, looking at race or color or ethnicity, none of that. Like, okay, let's take all that aside because all of us came here wrong. Some of us were here, yes. We're not against you, but we all need to come together because this is crazy.
For sure. Well, we'll play this last video of his mom, then we'll do our final thoughts.
Kyren Lacy's mother, and I will not accept any belated apologies. My beloved son left me 5 months ago, and you can't imagine, at the very end of his life, he still thought everyone hated him. It was an accident that had absolutely nothing to do with him, yet it not only brought him worldwide ridicule, but also destroyed his career and ultimately took his life, all because one man lied to him. Everyone blamed him without knowing that Kyren's car was farther from the crash site than his longest catch distance in college. How could he possibly have caused that accident? If not for that accident, he would still be alive today, playing in the league. The truth has finally come out. But so what? My child will never come back. He left this world full of pain, while those who so easily accused him now want to erase it all with a single word. Do you know? In his final days, he kept asking me, Mom, why doesn't anyone believe me? That kind of despair still echoes in my dreams to this day. At Kyren's funeral, holding myself together with what little strength I had left, I sang one last song for him, I Will Always Love You, hoping my dear son could finally rest in peace.
For sure. It was a great show, Theory. Thank you for coming. What's your final thoughts after you get done talking? We'll play some few more minutes of your Charlie Kirk episode.
My mic died. I want to say, first of all, I appreciate you guys for having me here. This was a great opportunity, but again, listening to Kyren's mother speak and just to hear the idea that no one would ever believed him until this moment, it just raised questions. Why was this evidence brought now when it could have been brought before? Or what's going to happen with this officer? What's going to happen after this? And it's just a sad moment to think. And again, it just runs in my mind that this incident can happen to any one of us as Black men, and to see this happen, and for people to see this, I wonder if people are still going to question how police officers treat Black men after this.
For sure. If you're watching right now, hit that subscribe button and press that notification bell to know when we go live. Oh, I was muted. If you weren't here at the beginning, Simple Black Theory debated Charlie Kirk. So we're going to play a few more minutes of that. And then everybody else is going to do their final thought.
All right, go ahead. When you hire based on race and not on excellence, you end up compromising excellence to be able to pursue race. We know this with Harvard, University of California. We know this with major companies. We know this with the government. Exactly. DEI, that is affirmative action is DEI philosophy in practice.
You're bringing old shit that's been
allow
struck down.
me to finish my statement. They are actively defying the Supreme Court decision, or they're contorting their policies to try to fit their own DEI agenda. But let me ask you a question. If you were to board a United Airlines,
I ain't get the finish. Right.
If you were to board a flight with United Airlines, would you rather have a pilot that is qualified or one that is diverse? Answer the question.
That makes no sense. Why is there two different things? How is it different? When you go to American Airlines.
Because in the pursuit of diversity, you sacrifice excellence every time. We know this with Harvard. We know this with Yale. We know this with the military. Every time, every example that we pursue diversity, an institution becomes less excellent.
So
it becomes subpar.
When you go on a plane, do you go to the pilot and ask for your credentials? Or do you believe that the airline did the right thing and hired the right? So you ask.
No, I don't. Actually, I'm starting to. Hold on. I start to doubt it. That was my statement. That was my statement. My statement was if you're going to go from 4% of the pilots being black to 50% of the pilots to be black, it begs the question: you are going to lower the standards.
So you're going
to put a square peg through a round hole. You are going to force something that naturally is not happening. And you will all of a sudden be playing a very treacherous and dangerous game when you board a plane. When I get heart surgery or if I board a plane, I don't care about the color of the skin of the person doing it. I want excellence and I want meritocracy.
Yes. So stop talking. Are you talking? So, right, let's get back to, because you're talking a lot.
Final point, then I'll get to the next question.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so again, going back to what you said, because like I said earlier ago, you said, I forgot this is ISU, you basically said that that women are being hired to become pilots, right? Now, first, that's a lie. That's based on a program. Second, correct me if I'm wrong, becoming a pilot is based on skill, correct? It's not based on height. It's not based on physicality. It's based on nothing. It's based on skill, meaning
not
that
always.
If you're being so what is it based on?
Because based on a now public lawsuit with the Department of Transportation in 2016, 2017, air traffic controllers and pilot standards were lowered in pursuit of diversity.
Not true. I looked at that too.
Because of over 15. Let me finish. Because of 15 whistleblowers that said the standard of air traffic controllers and pilots were being sacrificed in the pursuit of diversity.
You're lying
equity,
again.
And inclusion.
You're lying again.
Okay. I mean, people can do their own independent research, and
I've done it, and you're lying.
For sure. Simple Black Theory, you want to tell them where they can find you, where they can watch that full video if they want to see the whole thing?
Yeah, you can actually find me on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at Simple Black Theory. All together, Simple Black Theory. Yeah, you can definitely watch that video on the YouTube. Again, guys, I appreciate you guys for having me here. Gare, Doc, Heaven, I appreciate you guys. I enjoyed being here so much.
We definitely gonna bring you back for sure. Doc, what's your final thoughts?
Oh yeah, Black Theory, man, it's good to have you. Definitely gotta have you back, man. Y'all go check him out, follow him. I'm gonna go get a follow and check out some of his thing. And I think the biggest thing that in that clip that I took from part of that clip was he didn't realize that system wasn't put in place for everybody to be judged, just meritocracy. So we had to put these other things in place for people who were qualified, more than qualified, to also get a fair shake. So that's all I got, man. Have a good night, everybody.
For sure. Heaven, what's your final thoughts? You're muted.
Well, thanks for Simple Black Theory. It was good having you on. Enjoyed the conversation. You made some great points. At the end of the day, we really just need to realize that it's not left versus right, black versus white, brown, purple, whatever. It's up versus down. And when we're sitting here at the bottom struggling, we have to come together to beat them at the top. So stay focused and don't lose the plot.
For sure. My final thoughts are we do this every Monday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Thank you to everybody for watching. Thank you to Simple Black Theory for coming on. Definitely go follow him. It was great seeing his content. And I love talking about topics like this, because it affects everybody. Tomorrow, I believe Nora's going to be talking about Officer Tatum and Myron Gaines clash over Gaza and U.S. support for Israel. So if you want to hear about that, tune back in. Man Cave, have a great night. Thank you for watching.